Lumapag na ang eroplanong sinasakyan ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa Rotterdam The Hague Airport nitong March 12, 11:53 p.m. Ayon sa Facebook post na ibinahagi ni Senator Bongo, nagbahagi ng isang video si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte habang nakasakay ng eroplano at sinabi niya na nasa Hague, Netherlands na siya galing sa Dubai at siya daw ay nasa maayos na kalagayan. Narito ang kanyang pahayag.
To my countrymen, just to give you the current situation, I am about to land sa Hague. Galing ako Dubai, stopover for it's a long haul, it's a long flight. Okay ako, do not worry, and I think this is something to do with the law and order noon. At sinasabi ko naman sa mga pulis at military na trabaho kayo at ako ang managot. So ito na nga, for all of the whatever happened in the past, ako na yung nag-front sa ating law enforcement pati military. Sinabi ko na I will protect you and I will, ako ang managot sa lahat. This will be a long legal proceedings, but I say to you, I will continue to serve my country, at so be it. Kung ganun ang destiny ko. Salamat. May coke.
Wala. Dos lang, wala.
Nagsalita na ang ICC prosecutor Karim Khan sa pagka-aresto ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Narito ang kanyang pahayag.
Well, the arrest of the former president of the Philippines, Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte, is an important moment. The office has been investigating the situation of the Philippines for some time in relation to the so-called war on drugs. Last month, under the supervision of Deputy Prosecutor Manjay Niang, the team submitted a warrant application to the judges of the pre-trial chamber. The judges have issued that warrant and it's been executed. And in issuing the warrant, the judges have found reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Duterte has committed the crime of murder as the founder, as the head of the so-called Davao death squad, as the mayor of Davao City, and then later as the president of the Philippines between 2011 and 2019. And I think it's important to show that the office has been working with communities, with states, with international organizations, with other partners to make sure that the investigation could be focused and could move as effectively as possible. And the fact that it's been executed is important to victims. It means a lot, I think, to victims. That's the feedback we've already received. And many say that international law is not as strong as we want, and I agree with that. But as I also repeatedly emphasize, international law is not as weak as some may think. When we come together, when we work, when we build partnerships, the rule of law can prevail, warrants can be executed, and it's important to underline as we now start a new stage of proceedings that Mr. Duterte is presumed innocent. He will make his initial appearance before the court soon, and the focus of the office is on the judicial proceedings, on proving its case before the judges of the International Criminal Court.
Samantala, tukoy na ang tatlong babaeng judges ng International Criminal Court o ICC na pumirma sa warrant of arrest para kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte for crimes against humanity. Ang warrant of arrest ay nilagdaan ni na Judge Lulia Mutok, presiding judge, Judge Rain Alapini Gansu, at Judge Maria del Socorro Flores Liara. Sa isang press conference nitong Martes ng gabi, March 11, sinabi ni Marcos na ang pag-aresto kay Duterte ay alinsunod sa commitment ng bansa sa Interpol.
In carrying former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte took off at 11:03 p.m. this evening and exited Philippine airspace. The plane is en route to The Hague in the Netherlands, allowing the former president to face charges of crimes against humanity in relation to his bloody war on drugs. The former president was earlier placed in government custody at Villamor Air Base after his common law wife, Hanilet Avancenia, and members of his entourage arrived at 9:20 this morning from Hong Kong on Cathay Pacific flight number CX-907. Mr. Duterte was arrested in compliance with our commitments to Interpol. Hours before his arrival, Interpol Manila received an official copy of the ICC warrant. This prompted the Prosecutor General of the Department of Justice to serve the warrant. Interpol asked for help, and we obliged because we have commitments to the Interpol which we have to fulfill. If we don't do that, they will no longer help us with other cases involving Filipino fugitives abroad. This is what the international community expects of us as the leader of a democratic country that is part of the community of nations. So I'm sure that the details that surround this what has happened today are familiar to you. I just wanted to make very, very clear and give you the facts from for the departure of former President Duterte from the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Kanina po ay nagpaabot ng tanong ang mga miyembro ng Malacanang Press Corps at atin po itong sasagutin. Question number 1. Mr. President, meron po bang pisikal na kopya ng warrant of arrest laban kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte mula sa ICC?
Oh, meron. This came in. Actually, it came in. I received it from Secretary Remulla. I received it at 3 a.m. last night, and I looked at it, and we went back and forth. 6:30, he wrote me again, and he said, "We have it already. We have the warrant of arrest from Interpol." And I said, okay, we'll put all our plans into place, and sige, let's proceed as we had discussed. Now, that's what's happened. So yes, there is a very clear document that will explain that will explain the basis on how we conducted this arrest of former President Duterte.
Sir, is it okay if we give them copies of the arrest warrant, photocopies of the arrest warrant? Will that be possible?
Do we have limitations on that?
We have the limitations, but
we have here the SILG, who has been, of course, part and parcel of the entire operation.
We will provide the PCO with a digital copy. It has been attested by the Secretary of Justice and the Department of Justice as a lawful and legal warrant. We will publish it after this press conference, and you can use it as reference.
These are, it's very simple. It's a request to the Philippine government from Interpol to enforce the arrest warrant. And of course, we comply with our commitments to Interpol. We did not do this because it was derived from or it came from ICC. We did this because Interpol asked us to do it. And we have commitments to them, and we lived up to those commitments.
Sir, thank you, sir. Second question, sir. Mr. President, sinasabi ng kampo ni PRRD na unlawful arrest daw itong ginawang pag-aresto sa kanya.
Well, we followed every single necessary procedure. We had a very good basis on which to serve that warrant and to read him his rights. We followed all the legal procedures that are necessary. So I'm confident that if in further examination, you will find that it is proper and correct.
Sir, third question from the MPC. Mr. President, may violation ba ito sa ating soberanya, itong pagkaka-aresto kay dating Pangulong Duterte?
No. Bakit naman? Dahil consistent naman tayo. Hindi tayo tumutulong sa investigasyon ng ICC. Meron tayong contact sa kanila, natural. Pero no, not on an official level. We didn't help them in any way. The arrest that we did today was in compliance with our commitments to Interpol. It just so happened that that came from ICC. But it's not because it came from ICC. It's because it came from Interpol.
Pang-apat po na tanong, Mr. President, sinasabi po nila na ito ay political persecution lamang at may kaugnayan din daw sa 2028 elections.
Okay, well, I'm sure sasabihin nila yan. But this case started in 2017 when we were still members of the ICC, and it was during the time of former President Duterte. So I don't see how that can be political persecution on my part, because it was initiated before I even came into the picture. So that would seem. But once again, we have to recognize that, you know, of course, it's natural for people to put lalagyan ng politika, kulay ng politika. Pero sinundan lang natin yung ICC, yung Interpol. Hindi natin kinakausap yung ICC. Marami silang hinihingi sa atin ng mga dokumento, wala kaming binigay. Yun lamang, hindi natin mahindian ang Interpol. Pag sinabi sa atin, tulungan nyo kami, kailangan namin kunin itong taong ito. Dahil, kung maalala ninyo, lahat ng mga tumakas dito sa Pilipinas, kagaya ni Alice Go, kagaya ni Arnie Teves, kung sino-sino pa, pati naman yung mga human trafficking sa Myanmar, pati sa mga madadamay. Sinong tumulong sa atin para makita natin yung mga ating kababayan na inaapi at ginagamit sa masamang paraan? Ang Interpol. Kaya naman, dapat naman tayo, pagka sinabi sa atin, tulungan nyo kami sa ganito, tumulong kayo. Kaya naman, ganun ang ginawa natin.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President, sa paglilinaw ninyo. You want to ask another question?
All right, sure.
Sir, there are calls for people power. There are, in fact, as we speak, protest actions ongoing. would you like to address the supporters of the former president?
The supporters of the former president? Well, you know, again, the government is just doing its job. Wala namang, it's not because it's one person or another that we do the things that we do. Maybe sa nung mga nakaraan na mga administrasyon, baka ganun ang ginagawa. Pero para sa akin, hindi naman ganun. Sumusunod tayo sa batas. We are a member of the community of nations. We must live up to our responsibilities, to the commitments that we have made to the community of nations. And that is what's happened here. Politics doesn't enter into it. Bakit? Why that? You know, he's never going to be a candidate for anything. Why go after him? Di ba? At saka 2017 pa ito, wala pa ako. Civilian pa ako noon. So this is the evolution of his case, and this is where we end up. Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you.
Naglabas ng pahayag sina Davao City Mayor Sebastian Duterte at kapatid niyang si Veronica Kitty Duterte kasunod ng pag-alis ng eroplanong lulan ng kanilang amang si Rodrigo Duterte patungong The Hague, Netherlands. Ayon naman sa Facebook post ng anak ng dating Pangulo na si Sebastian Duterte, "Plane already left. They kidnapped PRRD." Sa isa pang post ng kanyang anak na si Veronica Kitty Duterte, "The airplane they used to kidnap my dad just left minutes ago. If we don't hear from him by tomorrow, then we already know." Binanata ni Vice President Sara Duterte ang pamahalaan sa pag-aresto ng ama niyang si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ayon kay VP Sara Duterte, isinuko ng gobyerno ang dating Pangulo na isang Pinoy sa mga dayuhang otoridad. Tahasang paglabag daw ito sa ating soberanya at insulto sa bawat Pilipino. Ang malala pa raw, pinagkait daw sa kanyang ama ang kanyang mga karapatan. Ang sapilitan daw na pagdala sa dating Pangulo sa The Hague ay hindi makatarungan, hindi isang pag-uusig. Patunay daw ito na kayang abandonahin ng gobyerno ang sariling kababayan. Sa huli, sinabi ni VP Sara Duterte na God save the Philippines. Sa isa pang sumunod na pahayag, tila may pinapatamaan si VP Sara. Anya, kung Pilipino ka, hindi ka kailanman susunod sa madayuhan sa sarili mong bayan. We are not Filipinos for nothing. Dagdag pa niya.
Magandang umaga, Malacanang Press Corps. Muli, welcome sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, March 12. Good news ang dala ng Department of Justice. Binigyang halaga ni Justice Secretary Boying Rimulya ang legal at makataong approach ng ating administrasyon laban sa illegal na droga sa kanilang pagdalo sa 60th session of the United Nations Commission on Narcotics Drugs. Dito ay binigyan din ng ating administrasyon ang pagpapatibay sa mga prevention measures gaya ng education at rehabilitation programs kontra droga. At nagbunga nga ang magandang resulta na nagtala ng pagbaba ng drug abuse sa bansa mula 1.7 or rather 1.67 million noong 2019 to 1.47 million noong 2023, base sa 2023 National Survey on Drug Abuse in the Philippines. Sa kabilang banda, the Philippines reaffirmed that the arrest of former President complied with the Philippines' commitment to the Interpol. Our commitment received support from various civic and civil society organizations. Let me quote some of those statements. Former Senator Lila de Lima said, "Duterte is being made to answer, not me, but to the victims, to their families, to a world that refuses to forget. This is not about vengeance. This is about justice finally taking its course." The Free Legal Assistance Group said, it welcomes the issuance by the ICC of the warrant of arrest against Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte and the action taken by the Philippine authorities to enforce the warrant against Mr. Duterte. It is a significant step towards ensuring accountability for the extrajudicial killings committed during his administration in pursuit of the so-called war on drugs. The Commission on Human Rights meanwhile said, the pursuit of justice cannot be stalled. Every delay prolongs the suffering of those left behind. It bears repeating the truth cannot be silenced. Accountability must prevail over impunity. The Project Paghilom hailed Duterte's arrest as victory for justice. Sa mga nagsasabi na si Duterte ay inabuso, ito po, International Criminal Court, walang tao at bayan ang nagdidikta doon. Paano siya inabuso? Human Rights Watch Deputy Asia Director Byrony Lau also said former President Duterte's arrest and transfer to The Hague is a long overdue victory against impunity that could bring victims and their families a step closer to justice. Adding that, this momentous event sends a message to human rights abuses everywhere that one day they could be held to account. Handa na po tayong sumagot sa inyong mga katanungan.
First question, Eden Santos, Net25.
Yusek, good morning po. Tamang-tama siguro sa number 1 question yung tanong ko dahil kumusta na po ngayon kung meron kayong tuloy-tuloy na monitoring kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, nasaan na po siya at ano na po yung kanyang lagay?
Sa ating pagkakaalam, sa huling ulat po sa atin ay siya po ay nasa Dubai. At sa ngayon po naman po kasi ay nasa maganda naman po siyang kondisyon, meron po siyang kasama. Yung preferred nurse niya po, may kasama rin po siyang abogado at kanyang preferred na security.
Kasi po sa post po ng kanyang daughter na si Kitty Duterte, parang 8 hours daw pong biyahe, isang sandwich lang yung kanilang kinain.
Alamin po natin ang katotohanan po niyan.
Thank you.
Leth Narciso, DZRH.
Good morning, Yusek. May gagawin po ba ang pamahalaan para tulungan si former president? Kasi ang dating doon sa kanya mga taga-suporta is basta natin ibinigay sa ICC.
Hindi. What do you mean po na
kung tutulungan po ng pamahalaan, may bibigyan na tulong?
Paano pong tulong ang dapat asahan kung meron po siyang sariling abogado? But anyway, meron man po tayong batas, ang RA 9851. Kung saan sinasabi po, no, kahit po ang dating Pangulong Duterte ay masasabi pong dapat na usigin or kailangan magkaroon ng hearing sa ICC, hindi naman din po papabayaan ng ating gobyerno, lalong-lalo na po kung ito ay tungkol sa kanyang karapatan. Sino man, kahit hindi po dating Pangulo, basta po Filipino, makakaasa po yan ng tulong sa ating pamahalaan.
May attend po ba o nag-reach out po ba mula sa kampo ni former President?
Wala pa po kaming natatanggap na anumang report patungkol dyan.
Clay Pardilla, PTV4.
Good morning po, Yusek. Yusek, what are the possible penalties and prison terms former President Duterte could face if convicted of the ICC's crime against humanity of murder? Thank you po.
Yes, based on the law, the penalty could reach up to 30 years imprisonment. But it depends upon the defenses that can be availed of by the former president.
Tuesday New, DZWB.
Good morning, Yusek. Kahapon po ay may mga sinasabi pa rin yung kampo ni dating Pangulong Duterte na he was denied of his right, especially yung medical attention. Hindi po ba naibigay sa kanya yung standard operating procedures na i-undergo siya ng medical examination upon his arrest?
Hindi po yan totoo. Dahil nung panahon po na siya po ay nasa kustodiya na po, talaga pong ang pagtrato po sa kanya ay hindi po lamang basta-basta. Tinrato pa rin po siya bilang Pilipino at bilang former president. Kompleto po Ang kasamahan po doon, may mga doktor po, may mga nurse, nandun din po ang kanyang mga abogado. So wala pong katotohanan na hindi po nabigyan siya ng tamang atensyon, especially patungkol sa medical needs na kailangan po niya.
Hindi po ba yung request daw po na dalhin siya sa ospital dahil considering his health condition nga daw po kahapon na umaga hanggang gabi nag-travel, napagod, bumaba na yung blood sugar level, kinailangan daw sanang mai-ospital. Hindi po ba yun kasama doon sa medical attention na dapat ibigay daw sa kanya?
Kung ang nagsasabi naman po na doktor na nag-attend po sa kanya ay hindi naman po sinasabing critical ang kanyang kondisyon, hindi naman po kinakailangan siya idalhin sa hospital.
Thank you po.
Melvin Gascon, Inquirer.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Ang tanong ko lang po, now that the Philippine government has technically waived its right to prosecute former President Duterte at na-turn over na po siya sa ICC, would this be an admission somehow na parang dito po sa bansa hindi po niya or hindi po makakamit ng mga biktima ng war on drugs ang hustisya na kanila pong hinahanap?
There's no waiver yet of the right of the state to still run after him if there are other complainants in the country. It just so happened that there is already pending case before the ICC, and we are just complying and enforcing RA 9851, especially Section 17, wherein that the stating therein that instead the authorities may surrender or extradite suspected or accused persons in the Philippines to the appropriate international court, if any, or to any other state pursuant to the applicable extradition laws and treaties. So we have not yet waived the rights of the alleged victims here in the Philippines. They can still file cases.
Just follow up, ma'am. Paano po namin, ano pong i-expect namin na magiging policy po ng government sa pakikipagtulungan sa ICC pag meron pong mga upcoming requests, halimbawa, ganito rin po ba na it will be through the Interpol? Or
Opo, dahil hindi po tayo miyembro ng ICC, pakikipagtulungan lang po tayo sa Interpol at ganun pa rin po siguro ang senaryo, pero depende pa rin po sa magiging sitwasyon. Kung halimbawa po yung taong kailangan silbihan ng warrant of arrest ay voluntary namang mag-surrender, so may iba naman po yung sitwasyon. But still, we will comply with our commitment with the Interpol.
Thank you, ma'am.
Crisel Insigne, IBC 13.
Yusek, may bearing pa po ba yung final po nila Attorney Panelo po na habeas corpus, gayong nasa ICC na po si former President Duterte?
Supreme Court lamang po ang makakapagsabi niyan, but usually po, kapag ka po yung tao ay nasa ibang bansa na po at nadala na po, nagiging moot and academic yung issue. But depende pa po rin yan sa Supreme Court. Hindi po natin pwedeng pangunahan kung ano po ang magiging decision ng Supreme Court dito.
Follow up lang po, Yusek. Lumipad na po si VP po papuntang Netherlands. Sino po yung nakapag-clearance to travel po ba siya?
Hindi po namin alam kung nakapag-clearance siya. Madalas naman po yata siyang umalis ng walang clearance. Hindi ko po, I'm sorry for that. Hindi po wala po tayong information on that.
Thank you po.
Alvin Baltazar, Radyo Pilipinas.
Yusek, magandang umaga po. Yusek, nabanggit niyo kanina yung support doon sa naging desisyon ng gobyerno natin na i-turn over sa through Interpol sa ICC si Pangulong Duterte. Ang nabanggit niyo kanina, group of lawyers, pagkatapos yung mga victims. Pero how do you assess the public's assessment doon sa naging hakbang ng ating pamahalaan?
Ano po ba yung naging public sentiments? Ano po yung, sabi niyo po yung may sentimento ng publiko. Ano po ba yung sinasabi niyong sentimento?
Yung assessment po natin.
Ang assessment natin.
Assessment po natin.
Okay.
Tungkol.
Kung anong sentimento ng tao.
In general?
In general,
do we gain support doon sa naging pasya?
Kung pag-uusapan po natin ay pagbibigay ng hustisya at pagko-comply sa tamang batas, mas maiintindihan po ng taong bayan kung naging tama po ba yung naging hakbang ng administrasyon. So ang mas maganda lamang po dito ay malaman nila kung paano ba ito nagsimula. Bakit nagkaroon ng warrant of arrest? Bakit kailangan makipag-ugnayan sa Interpol? Kapag po kasi ang nakikitang naratibo ay puro nakakaawa ang dating Pangulong Duterte, nandun na po tayo sa may bandang dulo eh. Dapat simulan natin bakit nga ba nagkaroon ng kaso sa ICC? Bakit nagkaroon ng warrant of arrest? Sino ba ang nagsampa ng kaso sa ICC? Kailan ba tumiwalag ang bansa sa ICC? Hindi pa po ba nung nagkapagsampa na ng kaso, itong mga biktima, di umanong biktima ng Pangulo? Dapat yun po sana ang masimulan sa taong bayan para maintindihan nila kung bakit kinakailangan po na mangyari ang ganito, bakit kinakailangan din po tayong mag-comply sa ating commitment to the Interpol. So, sa akin pong palagay, kapag ka po naintindihan nila ito lahat, magiging positibo naman po ang tanaw nila sa ginawa po ng administrasyon.
Salamat po, Yusek.
Richmond Quevedo, Daily Tribune.
Good morning, Yusek. There are concerns po that the former president was not given his day in court before being extradited. There are questions po between the time frame of his arrest, then the turnover po, departing the Philippines going to The Hague. It is also a concern po. Is this normal po ba with the situation like what happened po yesterday?
Okay, he was not extradited in the first place. He was surrendered. It would be different from to surrender and to extradite. So I just have to correct on that. It is regular. What we did, what the government did was regular. It is based on the law, based on our own law, RA 9851. If you will say that it is normal, I can say it is, but this is the first time that we did this. So if you did everything based on the law, I think there could be no question on that.
Follow-up lang po, ma'am. On the next possible warrants on the other named co-accused, as mentioned po as mentioned by Attorney Cristina Conti, will the Philippines push another coordination with Interpol? Just a clarification lang po na the same po ng movement as the events yesterday.
Katulad po sinabi natin, as of now, wala po kami na-receive na anumang information kung meron pa pong darating na warrant of arrest through the Interpol. Kung meron man po, ganun pa rin po ang magiging tugon namin. Kapag hiningi po ng Interpol ang tulong ng administrasyon, tutugon pa rin po tayo. Sabi nga rin po natin, magiging iba po siguro yung sitwasyon kung yung mga tao na maaaring maging subject of a warrant of arrest ay kusang magsusurrender. Hindi na po siguro kakailanganin yung naging drama po kahapon.
Last na lang po, Yusek, from my end. Is the Philippines considering to rejoin the ICC?
As of now po, we have not, there's no discussion on that. We will just cross the bridge when we get there. Wala pa po, as of now.
Thank you, Yusek.
Maricar Sargan, Brigada FM.
Good morning, Yusek. Sa ambush interview po kagabi ni VP Sara, binanggit niya na yung pag-aresto kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte is parang state kidnapping daw po. Any reaction from the palace?
State kidnapping. What does he mean by that? Now, what does she mean by that? State kidnapping. Well, I guess I have to stick with the word kidnapping. Ano-ano po ba yung elements ng kidnapping? Ba? Pagkuha ng sapilitan ng walang otoridad. Yun yung pinakasimple. Yun yung pinakasimple para sa taong bayan. Unang-una po, paano po magiging kidnapping kung may warrant of arrest? It was issued by an authority, by the court. Kapag ka po meron ng issuance ng anumang order from the court, we have to comply. Especially sa ating po nangyari ay through Interpol. Hindi po pwedeng kapag ka po nagsuserve ang sino mang otoridad, let's say sheriff, atin na lang po itong tatalikuran or ating sasaktan o ating susuntukin. Hindi po pwedeng ganun. Kung ano po ang nandiyan at legal po na masasabi nating order from the court, we should abide. No? We should abide by that. So wala po ako nakikitang kidnapping dahil hindi nga po ito sa pwersahan at lahat po ng elemento na dapat pong gamitin para maging masabing valid yung warrant of arrest at yung paghingi ng assistance ng Interpol ay nandiyan naman po. Kompleto po tayo ng papel.
Christian Yesores, Radyo 630.
Good morning, Yusek. Maybe ask lang po yung siguro reaksyon ng Palasyo o ng Pangulo doon sa statement naman po ng kanyang kapatid na si Senator Amy Marcos na nadismaya po doon at naawa sa pag-aresto kay Duterte. Ang sabi po niya, hindi na raw tayo natuto at gulo lang ang idudulot nito. Wala rin anyang pakinabang sa mga naghihirap na Pilipino ang pag-aresto. It also even reminded her daw sa kanilang ama, the late President Marcos Sr. noong 1986. I guess she was referring when the late President was ousted. Ano pong sagot dito ng Palasyo o ng Pangulo?
Nung tinanong po natin ng Pangulo dyan ay hindi pa po niya napanood ito at hindi rin po niya panabasa. So as of the moment, wala pong reaksyon ang Pangulo patungkol dyan.
Thank you po.
Sam Medinilla, Business Mirror.
Good morning po, ma'am.
Morning.
Yung regarding lang po dun sa follow-up dun sa question ni Sir Melvin kanina, yung hindi po ba makaka-apekto yung pag-transfer kay former President Duterte sa ICC dun sa mga pending illegal drugs cases dito sa Pilipinas?
Sa aking palagay, hindi naman po. Kung maaga po niya na madidepensa ng kanyang sarili, dahil sabi naman po niya, wala naman siyang kasalanan. Wala siyang nilabag. So napakadali po kay dating Pangulong Duterte. Sa kanyang palagay, na malulusutan niya ang hearing sa ICC. So pagdating po niya, at kung siya man po ay successful sa kanyang pagdedepensa doon, maaari niya naman pong kaharapin ang kaso dito.
Tapos on another matter, ma'am, sa economic naman po ako. Last year po, recently po naglabas ng data yung BSP regarding the FDI flow sinks to 110 million lowest in 11 years. Bumaba po yung foreign direct investments na nakuha yung ng Pilipinas last year.
Umina?
Po, umina. Despite dun sa mga initiatives ng government to attract foreign investors. Ngayon, ano po yung parang gagawin ng government to ensure na this year, medyo tumaas na po ulit yung FDIs natin?
Sa ngayon po, aalamin po natin kung ano ba ang naging dahilan kung sinasabi pong may pagbaba ng mga foreign investments dito. Kasi paminsan-minsan po, yung ibang mga records po natin, nasasabi naman po ay tumaas ang investment sa Pilipinas. So aalamin po natin yan at kung mayroon pong pagkukulang at gagawan po agad ng paraan ng mga business experts at ng ating mga head ng agencies para po matuguran kung ano man po ang magiging resulta o epekto po nito.
Pero last question na po. Pero recently, hindi pa po ito na-discuss with President Marcos po, yung FDIs.
Kung as of now po, wala po ako sa meeting ng patungkol dyan. Pero alam ko po, may mga meetings po ang Pangulo patungkol sa mga foreign investments at mga investments dito sa Pilipinas. Pero as of now po, kung meron po tayong records, ibibigay ko po agad sa inyo.
Thank you po.
Jinky Baticados, IBC.
Hi, Yusek. Good morning.
Good morning pa.
Ma'am, following the arrest lang, para at least alam lang namin kung ano yung process. Pagdating niya po doon sa The Hague, ano po yung magiging proseso doon? Can you walk through us the process po?
Sa aking pagkakaalam, dadali muna sa isang local court. At doon titignan, alamin kung tama ba yung proseso ng pag-arrest. At kapag ka po na-validate, na sinabi naman na tama ang pagkakadala sa kanya sa bansang kung saan siya dadalhin, idadali na po siya sa The Hague. sa ICC.
Ma'am, kanina na-mention nyo lang po no, na 30 years po siya if in case.
Or life imprisonment. Depende po yan.
Would this still be applicable to the former president since 80 years old na din siya?
It depends upon the ICC.
So, sa kanila po yun?
Yes, opo. ICC will be the one that will give or render the decision.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Ace Romero, Philippine Star.
Yusek, good morning. Kasi yung isa sa mga common arguments against dun sa pagsuko or yung pag-yield sa ICC ng mga suspect is if the local courts are working, then why would you let international court intervene with their cases? So, given what happened yesterday na sinuko nga ang dating Pangulo, how would you respond to that?
Actually, natugunan na po yan eh. May response na po yan, kaya po nagtuloy-tuloy yung investigation. Kung natatandaan nyo po, nabigyan po sila ng 1 year to act on the alleged complaints. Pero wala po kasi naging aksyon para po sampahan agad ang dating Pangulong Duterte. Kaya po nagtuloy-tuloy po yung investigasyon ng prosecutor. So, nasagot na po yan, kung yun po yung pag-uusapan natin. They were given due process. Sila po yung hindi tumugon. Sila po yung hindi nakipag-ugnayan. Natatandaan mo po natin, sinabi rin po ni Senator Bato na siya po ay nakakatanggap di umano ng notice. Pero hindi niya po tutugunan ito dahil hindi po siya sigurado at sa kanyang palagay po ay walang jurisdiction ang ICC. Kung may nagkulang man po at sinasabing hindi sila nabigyan ng due process, sila po mismo ang tumalikod sa kanilang karapatan na madinig ng prosecutor patungkol sa kanilang mga ebidensya.
So if I'm not mistaken, the argument refers to the courts or the judiciary system itself, no? Meaning kapag nagwo-work naman daw yung judicial system sa Pilipinas, then why would an international court intervene in a particular case? Can we say that the local courts are still working, our local courts?
Of course, still working. Pero sa pagkakataong ito, sa panahon ng dating Pangulong Duterte, hindi natin alam. Kaya nga nagkaroon ng hearing or nagkaroon ng pag-file ng complaint sa ICC. Katulad ng sinabi ko, binigyan ng gobyerno ng 1 taon para patunayang gumagana ang hustisya laban sa mga war on drugs ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Pero wala pong naisampa. Kaya po nagtuloy-tuloy ang investigasyon ng prosecutor.
Follow-up lang po, related question. There are calls by some supporters of the Duterte family, no, na people power daw po. Mag-launch daw ng people power in support of the former president, and some are calling on people na pumunta sa streets. What do you say to those kinds of statements?
Hindi po ba pagbabaksak ito ng gobyerno? Unang-una po, may warrant of arrest. Pangalawa, may case na nakafile. Pangatlo, may mga di umanong biktima na magsasalita patungkol sa kaso. Hindi po ito basta gawa-gawa na kwento. May mga biktima. Hindi ito pagpaplanta ng ebidensya. Hindi galing ang kaso sa Pilipinas. Ito, ang kaso ay pending sa ICC. Ano ang magiging dahilan nila para himukin ang taong bayan na mag-alsa laban sa pamahalaan? Samantalang ang pamahalaan ay gumagawa, tumutupad ng batas. Ang pagtawag ba ng people power ay paglabag sa batas? Dapat ang mga tao ngayon, ang mga kababayan natin, mag-isip. Alamin, ano ba ang nangyayari? Ang kasong ito sa ICC ay hindi gawa-gawa ng pamahalaan. Gawa ito sa panahon ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Gawa ito ng war on drugs ni dating Pangulong Duterte. At aminado siya rito. Bakit isisisi ang pag-i-issue ng warrant of arrest, ang pagpapadala sa kanya sa ICC, kung siya mismo, sinabi ni dating Pangulong Duterte, Sue me. I will take all the legal responsibilities on this. Bakit tayo ngayon umiiyak? Samantalang pinapatupad lang naman natin kung ano ang nasa batas.
Ivan Mayrina.
Yusek, naturally naglulutangan po yung iba't ibang legal opinions tungkol dito sa, well, first in our history na nagkaroon po ng ganitong pagsuko sa isang dating Pangulo sa isang foreign court. Isa po sa mga opinion na ito, and I quote, "Without a binding treaty or domestic legal obligation explicitly compelling surrender, post-withdrawal with the ICC, the decision to cooperate remains discretionary under Philippine law." How does the palace respond to this assertion, Yusek, that it was within the president's power to prevent the arrest, but he chose not to exercise that power?
Very clear. It's the prerogative of the government. So if it is the prerogative of the government to comply with the commitment to the Interpol, so that's it.
So it appears that it was a choice between complying with their obligations with the Interpol and giving up a Filipino citizen. If you are privy to the considerations that went into this decision, Yusek, ano ho ang naging decision-making process dito?
Okay. This is not just surrendering a Filipino citizen. It is surrendering a Filipino citizen who is accused of crimes against humanity, specifically murder. So it would be a different story. So we have to comply with the law and also give justice either to the victims or to the accused. If the accused can say, "I am not guilty, I can defend myself," then go on. It's also justice for him. That's due process. But if he is guilty, then we should also give justice to the victims. That's it.
Thank you, Yusek.
Okay. Last question, Gilbert Verdes, DWIC.
Morning po. Nabanggit po kanina, ma'am, na pwedeng itry yung dating presidente ng ICC at yung case na rin sa Pilipinas. Di ho ba mahuhulugo yun sa double jeopardy?
Ay, depende po. Depende po. Ang double jeopardy po, ang kaso po dyan ay dapat na decision na po on the merits. Nakapag-arraign, may arraignment na, nakuha na po yung jurisdiction over the person, nakapag-trial, nakapagkaroon ng decision on the merits. Pero dapat po ang case ay not similar to the other courts na nagkaroon ng paghihiring. So if the courts or if the cases that will be heard before the Philippine courts are different from the cases being heard before the ICC, there would be no double jeopardy. Okay.
Follow-up lang din po doon sa question ni Ivan, yung pong war on drugs ng dating administration, di ba sa polisiya ng gobyerno po yon para maprotektahan ang taong bayan laban dito sa illegal na droga. Paano naman po yung human rights or karapatan ng mga naging biktima nitong mga sangkot sa illegal na droga na siyang naging parang pundasyon po nung polisiya na yun ng pamahalaan? Nakabuti naman po yung war on drugs sa karamihan ng ating mga kababayan.
Dapat natin i-determine anong klaseng kabutihan. Are we talking, kasi you're talking about war on drugs in general. Everybody is against illegal drugs. Tanong natin, war on drugs kasama ang tukang, kasama ang pagpatay, walang due process, kasama yung sasabihan ng polis na, sige, sabihin mo sa kanyang lumaban, para matapos na at mabawasan ang problema sa Pilipinas. Hindi siya dapat polisiya ng isang gobyerno in the first place. It's against the law. Killing is against the law. Wala nga tayong death penalty sa Pilipinas eh. Uunahan mo pa. Napatayin? Ang masama, wala pang hearing. So, hindi natin matatanggap na yung war on drugs na pinairal ni dating Pangulong Duterte ay tama. Kung may natulong sa iba, paano naman yung namatayan? Kung meron na biktima, itong mga drug users na to, then the victims can also file cases against these drug users. Pero hindi natin matatanggap na polisiya siya na dapat sundin ng isang gobyerno.
Thank you, Yusek.
At dito na po rin tatapos ang ating briefing. Maraming salamat, Malacanang Press Corps, at magandang tanghali para sa Bagong Pilipinas.
Mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para sa mga susunod na video updates. Maraming salamat po.